You are suffering right now. Maybe it's physical pain. Maybe it's anxiety that won't leave. Maybe it's grief you can't shake. Maybe it's a loneliness so deep you can't even name it. Or maybe it's something quieter, a low hum of dissatisfaction, a feeling that life should be different than this, that you should feel better than this. 2,500 years ago, a man sat under a tree and asked one question: why do human beings suffer, and is there a way out? His name was Siddhartha Gautama, and what he discovered under that tree changed the lives of over 500 million people. Today, modern psychology, neuroscience, and medicine are confirming what he taught, study by study, research paper by research paper. The Buddha was right. Today, I'm going to show you every Buddhist teaching that eliminates suffering, what the Buddha taught, and what Harvard, Oxford, and Johns Hopkins now confirm about every single one. Stay until the end, because teaching number 7 is the one that will change everything, and it takes less than 5 minutes a day. Last year, I spoke with a 58-year-old woman. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had suffered from severe anxiety and depression for 11 years. She had tried 4 different antidepressants. She had been in therapy for 6 years. She had read every self-help book she could find. Nothing worked. Not really. She would feel better for a few weeks, then fall back into the same darkness. Her psychiatrist told her, "Sarah, some people simply have to manage their condition for the rest of their lives." Sarah nearly gave up. Then her daughter, a university student studying psychology, said something that changed everything. "Mom, have you ever looked at what the Buddha actually taught about suffering?" Sarah hadn't. She wasn't Buddhist. She wasn't spiritual in any particular way, but she was desperate enough to try anything. She began studying the Buddha's 4 core teachings on suffering, one by one, slowly, carefully. 3 months later, her psychiatrist, the same one who had told her to simply manage, sat across from her in his office and said, "Sarah, I don't know what you're doing differently, but your anxiety scores have dropped by 60%. Your depression markers are the lowest I've seen in 11 years of treating you." What changed? Not a new medication, not a new therapy, just the Buddha's teachings, applied practically consistently every single day. Let me show you exactly what those teachings are. First, let me tell you something that surprises most people. The Buddha's very first teaching, the very first thing he said after reaching enlightenment, was about suffering, not about God, not about heaven, not about ritual or ceremony, suffering and how to end it. He called it the first noble truth. Life contains suffering. The Pali word is dukkha, and dukkha doesn't just mean pain. It means a deep unsatisfactoriness, the feeling that something is always slightly wrong, that things never quite satisfy, that happiness always slips away. Sound familiar? The Buddha said, "This is not your fault. This is not a punishment. This is simply the nature of unexamined human experience." But here is what makes the Buddha's teaching revolutionary. He didn't stop at diagnosing the problem. He gave a complete path out of it. 7 specific practical teachings, each one confirmed by modern science, each one available to you, starting today. The Buddha was a doctor before doctors existed. He approached suffering the way a great physician approaches disease. Identify the symptom, find the cause, determine if a cure exists, prescribe the cure. The 4 noble truths are exactly this, a complete medical diagnosis of human suffering. Truth 1, suffering exists. It is real. It is universal. You are not broken for feeling it. Truth 2, suffering has a cause. It is not random. It is not punishment. The cause is craving, clinging to things that change, demanding that life be different than it is, resisting what is. Truth 3, because suffering has a cause, it can end. This is the most important truth. Suffering is not permanent. It is not inevitable. There is a way out. Truth 4, the way out is the Eightfold Path, a practical daily way of living that leads step by step away from suffering and toward genuine peace. What does modern science say? Acceptance and commitment therapy, one of the most evidence-based psychological treatments in the world, is built almost entirely on the first 2 noble truths. Acknowledge suffering. Identify what you are clinging to. Stop fighting reality. A 2021 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology found that ACT, based directly on Buddhist principles, reduces anxiety by 58% and depression by 52% across clinical populations. Oxford University's Mindfulness Research Center, people who understand and apply the principle that suffering is caused by mental resistance, not by circumstances, show significantly lower rates of chronic depression. The Buddha was not a pessimist, he was a realist, and his realism was the beginning of freedom. Everything changes, everything passes, nothing lasts. The Pali word is anicca, impermanence, and the Buddha taught that most human suffering comes from one thing: forgetting this truth. We suffer because we cling. We fall in love with a moment and demand it last forever. We build our identity around something, a role, a relationship, a version of ourselves, and then shatter when it changes. The Buddha said, stop clinging, not because things don't matter, but because your clinging cannot stop them from changing. And the attempt to hold on is itself the source of your pain. He used a beautiful image. He compared life to a river. You can stand in a river. You can feel its coolness. You can love its movement, but you cannot stop it from flowing. The person who suffers tries to stop the river. The person who is free lets it flow and simply stands present in it. What does modern science say? Stanford University psychologist Philip Zimbardo, people who are psychologically anchored in the present moment, rather than clinging to the past or dreading the future, show 40% lower rates of depression and 35% lower rates of anxiety. Dr. Martin Seligman's research on learned helplessness at the University of Pennsylvania, the core of depression is not sadness. It is the belief that painful states are permanent. When people learn that difficult emotions are temporary and will pass, depressive episodes reduce in frequency and severity by over 50%. Grief research from Columbia University. People who are taught impermanence, that grief, though real and painful, will naturally change and soften, recover from loss significantly faster than those who resist or fight their grief. The Buddha taught this 2,500 years ago. He said, "Your pain is real, and it will pass." Both things are true. Sarah's breakthrough came here. She had been fighting her depression, treating it as a permanent identity rather than a passing state. When she truly understood impermanence, she stopped saying, "I am depressed," and started saying, "I am experiencing depression right now." 3 words, completely different relationship with suffering. This is the Buddha's most famous teaching and the most misunderstood. Mindfulness, sati in Pali, does not mean emptying your mind. It does not mean thinking about nothing. It does not mean sitting in silence for hours hoping your problems disappear. The Buddha defined mindfulness precisely: clear awareness of what is happening in this moment, without judgment, without clinging, without resistance. Seeing clearly, that's all. But that seeing clearly, practiced consistently, changes everything. Buddhist monks practice mindfulness not just in meditation. They practice it while eating, while walking, while washing dishes, while speaking. Every moment becomes an opportunity for clear present awareness. What does modern science say? This is where the evidence becomes extraordinary. Harvard neuroscientist Dr. Sarah Lazar, 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation produces measurable changes in brain structure. The amygdala, the brain's fear and stress center, physically shrinks. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for clear thinking and emotional regulation, physically thickens. You are literally rebuilding your brain in 8 weeks. Johns Hopkins University, mindfulness meditation reduces symptoms of anxiety by 38%, depression by 30%, and physical pain by 25%. Massachusetts General Hospital, mindfulness-based stress reduction reduces the body's cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, by an average of 31% after an 8-week program. Oxford University, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy reduces relapse into depression by 43% more effectively than medication alone for people who have experienced 3 or more depressive episodes. The Buddha prescribed this 2,500 years ago. He called it the direct path. Science now tells us why it works. It changes the physical structure of the brain. Sarah began with 5 minutes of mindfulness every morning, just 5 minutes, sitting quietly, watching her breath, noticing her thoughts without following them. By week 3, she noticed something she hadn't expected. She was having the same anxious thoughts as before, but she wasn't being pulled into them. She was watching them from a slight distance. It was like suddenly realizing I was the sky, she told me, not the storm, the sky that the storm passes through. The Buddha taught 2 kinds of compassion: karuna, compassion for the suffering of others; metta, loving kindness, warmth and goodwill toward all beings, including yourself. He taught that these are not just spiritual virtues, they are the direct antidote to one of the deepest forms of suffering, the suffering of separation, the feeling that you are alone, that no one truly sees you, that you don't belong. The Buddha said, when you genuinely wish for others to be free from suffering, something remarkable happens. Your own suffering begins to loosen. This sounds paradoxical. It is not. It is psychology. What does modern science say? Dr. Kristen Neff, University of Texas. Self-compassion, treating yourself with the same warmth you would offer a suffering friend, reduces anxiety by 46%, reduces depression by 40%, and increases emotional resilience significantly more effectively than self-esteem building. Brigham Young University. People with strong, compassionate social connections live 50% longer than those who are isolated. This finding, held across 148 different studies involving over 300,000 participants. Stanford Center for Compassion and Altruism Research, a 7-week loving-kindness meditation program. The Buddha's metta practice reduces self-criticism by 43% and increases positive emotions, purpose, and social connection. University of British Columbia. Acts of kindness toward others produce measurable increases in the brain's reward circuitry, the same circuits activated by food and physical pleasure. Compassion is literally pleasurable to the brain. The Buddha knew this. He said, your suffering and the suffering of others are not separate. When you open your heart to the pain of others, you discover that you are not alone in your own. Sarah had been isolated. Shame about her depression had made her withdraw. She stopped calling friends. She stopped going out. When she began a simple metta practice, spending 5 minutes each morning wishing well-being to herself, then to people she loved, then to strangers, something shifted in her chest. I started feeling less alone, she told me, even before I reached out to anyone. Just by wishing them well in my mind, I felt connected to them. Before the Buddha became the Buddha, he tried 2 extremes. First, he lived in complete luxury, a palace, every pleasure, no discomfort ever. Then he tried the opposite, extreme asceticism. He ate almost nothing. He slept on bare ground. He pushed his body to the absolute limit. Both failed, both produced suffering. And then, sitting under the Bodhi tree, he discovered the middle way. Not too much, not too little, not the extreme of indulgence, not the extreme of deprivation. Balance, moderation, sustainability. The middle way applies to everything: food, sleep, work, rest, effort, relaxation. And here is what most people miss about modern suffering. We are a civilization of extremes. We work until we collapse. We eat until we're sick. We scroll for 3 hours, then feel guilty and delete the app entirely. We diet for 2 weeks, then binge for 1. Extreme to extreme, never finding the middle, always exhausted by the swinging. What does modern science say? Stanford psychologist Kelly McGonigal. The leading cause of willpower failure is not weakness. It is the cycle of restriction and indulgence. People who practice moderation consistently outperform people who practice strict self-control because they never experience the rebound that strict control produces. Mayo Clinic research on burnout. The number one predictor of workplace burnout is not high workload. It is the absence of recovery time. The brain and body require alternating periods of effort and rest. Without both, performance collapses. Blue Zones research: none of the world's longest living populations practice extreme diets, extreme exercise regimes, or extreme self-denial. They live moderately, consistently, sustainably for 100 years. The middle way is not weakness, it is wisdom, and it is the only path that works long-term. This is perhaps the most misunderstood Buddhist teaching of all. Non-attachment does not mean not caring. It does not mean being cold, distant, or emotionless. It does not mean you cannot love deeply or want things passionately. The Buddha defined non-attachment precisely: engaging fully with life, loving, working, creating, connecting, without making your peace conditional on outcomes. The difference between attachment and non-attachment is this: attachment says, I will be okay, only if this works out. Non-attachment says, I want this, I will work for it, and my peace does not depend on it. This single distinction eliminates an enormous proportion of human suffering. Think about how much of your anxiety is conditional. I'll be happy when this is fixed. I'll be at peace when that situation resolves. I'll be okay when they finally understand. The Buddha said that structure, your peace held hostage by circumstances, guarantees suffering. Because circumstances are always changing, outcomes are never fully in your control. What does modern science say? Harvard psychologist Daniel Gilbert's research on effective forecasting: human beings are systematically wrong about what will make them happy. We believe achieving goals will bring lasting happiness. It doesn't. The happiness fades within weeks. This is because the pleasure was attached to the outcome, not to the process. University of Rochester: people who pursue goals for intrinsic reasons, curiosity, growth, meaning, show significantly higher well-being than people who pursue the same goals for extrinsic reasons: approval, achievement, security. The difference is not the goal, it is the attachment. Dr. Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, in his landmark work on meaning, the people who survived the most extreme suffering were not those who clung to outcomes, but those who found meaning in the process itself, independent of results. The Buddha said, do everything with full effort and full heart, but hold the outcomes lightly. Your peace is not for sale. This is the one. The teaching that Sarah says saved her life, the one that takes 5 minutes a day, the one that modern neuroscience calls the most powerful mental health intervention ever studied. The Buddha taught that almost all suffering lives in two places: the past and the future. Regret, guilt, and grief live in the past. Anxiety, fear, and worry live in the future. But pain, real, present, unavoidable pain, is almost always manageable. It is the story we add to it, the past that caused it, the future we fear because of it, that makes it unbearable. The Buddha said, this present moment is the only place where life actually happens, and suffering cannot fully exist in the pure present moment. Only thoughts about the past and future can produce suffering. This sounds simple. It is not easy, but it is the most powerful tool in the entire Buddhist system. What does modern science say? Harvard study by Killingsworth and Gilbert, published in Science. The human mind wanders from the present moment 47% of the time, and mind wandering makes people unhappy, regardless of what they are doing or thinking about. The conclusion: a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. University of California, Berkeley. Present moment awareness, measured by the ability to notice experience without judgment, is the single strongest predictor of psychological well-being across all populations studied. Stronger than income, stronger than health, stronger than relationship status. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, MIT. 8 weeks of present moment mindfulness practice reduces chronic pain by 57% in patients who had not responded to conventional treatment. The pain itself didn't change. The relationship to the pain changed. The Buddha prescribed this 2,500 years ago. Be here, right now, fully. That's all. You don't need to become a Buddhist monk. You don't need to sit in silence for hours. You don't need to change your religion, your beliefs, or your lifestyle. Here is a 7-day plan. 1 teaching per day, 5 to 10 minutes. That's all. Day 1, 4 noble truths. Write down 1 source of suffering in your life right now. Then write, what am I clinging to? What am I resisting? Just naming it honestly begins to loosen its grip. Day 2, impermanence. Choose 1 difficult emotion you are currently experiencing. Write these words. This is temporary. This will change. This too shall pass. Say it 3 times. Mean it. Day 3, mindfulness. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Focus only on your breath, in and out. When your mind wanders, gently return. No judgment, just return. Day 4, compassion. Spend 5 minutes in loving kindness practice. Start with yourself. May I be happy? May I be healthy? May I be at peace? Then extend it to someone you love, then to a stranger, then to someone who has hurt you. Day 5, middle way. Identify 1 area of your life where you are living in extremes: work, food, exercise, relationships. Ask, what would the moderate, sustainable version of this look like? Write it down. Day 6, non-attachment. Choose 1 thing you are currently anxious about. Write it down. Then write this sentence: I will do my best, and my peace does not depend on the outcome. Rate it 10 times. Day 7, present moment. Every hour today, stop for 60 seconds. Look around. Name 5 things you can see, 4 you can hear, 3 you can feel. Return to now, fully, completely. The Buddha sat under a tree 2,500 years ago and made a promise. Not a religious promise, not a supernatural promise. A practical, testable, verifiable promise. Suffering can end. There is a path out. It is available to every human being. Modern neuroscience, psychology, and medicine have spent the last 50 years testing that promise. Study by study, brain scan by brain scan, clinical trial by clinical trial. And the conclusion is the same every time. The Buddha was right. Sarah, 58 years old, 11 years of depression, 4 failed medications, is living proof. 3 months of applying these 7 teachings, 60% reduction in anxiety, lowest depression scores in 11 years. Not because her life changed. Her circumstances were exactly the same. Her relationship to her life changed, and that changed everything. You don't have to suffer the way you are suffering right now. Start with 1 teaching, just 1, today. In the next video, we'll explore what Buddhist monks do every single morning, a daily routine that modern doctors say could add 10 years to your life. Until then, be present, be compassionate, be free. Namo Buddhaya.